All right. Hi. How's everybody doing? Good. Okay. Happy New Year to everybody. So Alan and I decided we were going to try to launch some new little plan for you guys, and we're calling it Fresh 30. So I'm going to be alluding to Fresh 30. Do these guys have outlines yet or no?
They're here. Some of them.
They're here.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'll be referring to this. Hi. throughout this presentation and demo. Yeah, we're going to address that as we go. All right. So everybody know my name is Mary, and happy to see everybody. And I can't believe there's so many people in this room. Anybody? Me? Talk loud? Okay. Okay. So how's everybody doing? Did we make it through the holidays? Yeah? Did we maintain what we wanted? Oh, okay. All right. All right. It is an honest crowd. Okay, so here's the way I decided to put a handout together. I wanted to think about this plan that Alan and I had spent some time on and address the need for simplicity, right? Sustainability. Am I going to really make that when I get home from work, right? How much time do I actually have? And just try to address that throughout the handout in some of these recipes that I pulled together for you. So in the interest of time, I certainly have something I want to demo, and I'll tell you about that here in just a second. But what I have is I have a crock pot sitting here, no kidding. This crock pot is filled with the #1 recipe on here, which is that green, it's actually green salsa, green chili pork. So the reason I chose this is because this is so easy, but you have to have some thought. You got to have some thought and some planning and some prep, which I think is everybody's issue, more likely than not, is the plan. And how am I going to get this done, right? Everybody own a crock pot, maybe? Most of you? All right. And I have 2. I've had 3. They do come in handy, okay? So when we say that they make the whole meal, they don't always make the whole meal for you. You have to work on that a little bit sometimes, okay? But oftentimes I like to put the meat portion of whatever I'm doing in this thing and let that crock all day and literally come down my street at the end of the day and wonder who's cooking because it smells so good, right? We've all done that, okay? So look at this recipe. So simple, okay? You have white onion. White onion's a little bit milder than some of the other ones. You know, certainly you can use the Maui onions and the sweet onions if you want to do that. All you're going to do is dice an onion. Now, if you feel the need to dice this the night before, because that's a heck of a lot easier for you because you can't think in the morning, feel free, no problem. Dice it up at night, put it in a container, stick it inside the fridge. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get to the store, and I'll be honest, I went to Hen House and I couldn't find a lot of options on green salsa. Okay, green salsa is really interesting. There's a lot of red ones out there. I can use red, but the green, at least the green that I bought, has the tomatillos in it, and it's a fire roasted Mexican, and it says hot on the jar. So that concerned me a little bit. So I decided to cut it back a little bit with a milder roasted yellow pepper option that I found. So I bought the nicest stuff I could find, and I figure it's going to be the best flavor. So look at your options on green salsa when you guys go to the store, okay? A couple of those in your cupboard might be nice to have as, part of your pantry, your healthy pantry options. I keep thinking I need to teach a class on, how to prepare a healthy pantry. So you guys have stuff to pull from, and then it reduces that angst when you get home, right? What am I going to make? Who goes through that? We all do, right? All right, and I've got a hot pan here. I better be careful. That's like really hot. Okay, so in here, as you can see, it's just salt and pepper. I bought a pork shoulder roast from the butcher at Hen House, so it was a good cut. It's a little fatty, so I did have to pull some of the fat out of there when I was done. I opted not to put the serrano chili peppers in there. If you guys want to do that, do it. You can put the jalapenos. If you want to reduce the heat a little bit, take the seeds out. But be careful when you touch that and touching your eyes, okay? Don't take your contacts out after you've touched that.
I've done that.
I've done that.
Fun.
No, it ruins your contacts, doesn't it, Alan? Yeah, exactly, right? All right, so.
Stephanie Wright, call the operator.
in keeping with our theme of our Fresh 30, Alan and I decided we were going to not do some dairy foods. So, you know, when you're thinking of something in a little tortilla and you're thinking, boy, a little sour cream might sound good, right?
What's your alternative?
Well, you could use, you know, a plain Greek yogurt, a plain low-fat yogurt. If you guys can imagine how good that might taste, I might squeeze a little lime juice in there and make that taste a little bit better, right? But it does have the same consistency, especially Greek yogurt, right? It tastes like sour cream. You're nodding. Anybody nodding? Like you're almost thinking, that doesn't taste good all by itself, does it? So I have to do something to it. But if you wanted an option that would lend itself well to this particular dish, I mean, it works nicely. I also have some chopped up cilantro if you guys are so inclined. I have avocado. You know, you could put salsa, you could do tomatoes, you can do whatever you guys want to do. But in keeping with the plan, this recipe does very nicely. Okay, so Alan might need help.
Alan will be fine.
Okay, Alan's going to be fine. All right, so he's going to get samples together for you folks. The other thing that keeps us in line with this. We're not serving cookies. Okay, but we talked about what are you going to put it in, right? Okay, so I don't have flour tortillas, but I do have corn tortillas. And Alan likes do you like the yellow ones more?
I like them both.
You don't care? Okay, these are a little bit softer. These are the white corn,
They are a little softer,
right?
right?
And there's so few calories, you guys. Right? You've got 2 tortillas is 100 calories. So if we're giving you a 50-calorie tortilla and this yummy dish in here, and you can envision this being the family meal, right? Good stuff. Okay, so Alan is attempting to put samples out there. We'll see how quickly he moves. Slowly but surely. All right, so throughout the rest of this handout, you're going to see some ideas on some side dishes. I have a split pea soup. My attempt at I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a version of chicken piccata. It doesn't have to be that hard. Who's ever done that at home, right? Have you guys made chicken piccata at home?
What does piccata mean?
No? What does piccata mean? I don't know. Okay. It's got the capers in it.
Okay,
well, but the thing with piccata, you want to think breaded sometimes with chicken piccata. So sometimes it is breaded, and I was playing around with coatings on the chicken. And if you take the chicken, you can take a chicken breast. I'm gonna cut it in half. What you want to do is you want to better way to say pound it out here in this bag, right? And you want to smash it pretty flat. Okay? I don't really have a good surface element.
The floor is nice.
On the floor. Okay, the floor is sturdy. Right, okay, so you see this piece of chicken, okay? And you want to get your little mallet out. If you have one of these meat tenderizers, you can use the flat side. If you use the pointy side, you're going to poke holes in your bag, right? And I want to reuse the bag, so hold on.
Oh, nice.
I know, right? I'm not.
Sanitary.
Right? Wait, you guys don't need to eat this.
No one's going to eat this chicken anyway.
No one's eating the chicken. Okay, I might have it for lunch.
Mary might have it for lunch.
Okay, so what I did, look, I just took that little piece of chicken, I flattened it out. So why would I do that, right? Now it's super easy to cook. Doesn't have to cook very long, versus a chicken breast that's going to be super thick, okay? So you can buy them like this from the butcher if you want. You can do what I did, right?
On your countertop.
Some surface that doesn't give too easily. All right. So any questions so far?
To have that skillet at for a chicken breast.
Well, I don't want it too high or it's going to start burning.
So
yeah, so I turned it all the way up because it's one of these things. So I have it now back down to about medium. Probably going to go a medium low. Well, it depends on your stove. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your chicken breast, your little, now it's called a cutlet, for lack of a better word to call it. Any questions so far? So does this make sense? Right? I can also take one chicken breast and I can probably serve 2 people if I have other sides. If I have other vegetables, maybe I've taken, frozen broccoli and shove it in the microwave. Easy enough. I want to be a little bit more ingenious, I mean, certainly I can do other vegetables and I can roast them and I can do other things there. So with the chicken, I need to put it somewhere here. Let's put it here. How are you doing on samples?
Doing great.
So you guys would have sampled. It's good stuff, isn't it? Is it too hot, Jeff? It's spicy. Okay, yeah.
That's not too hot, though, right? Okay.
Well, no, certain people in here can't handle spice, so.
What are you trying to imply?
Come on, you gotta have a little spice here. So what questions do you have? Is this easy enough? Right?
So you're gonna put some butter in that skillet?
I'm gonna put some butter in this skillet, but you know, when you look at the plan and the prep of something like this, what do I have to do early on? Probably. If I have this in the freezer, I can put it out, right? Okay. So you do have to plan it a little bit.
I had friends one time that invited us over for lunch, and they said, well, we're going to grill some chicken breast, and they had not taken this chicken breast out of the freezer yet, and we were an hour away, and they're running it under scalding hot water.
Oh, it's not what you want to do.
And I get them like, that's not how you want to thaw chicken. Well, we're trying to thaw it out quick. I say, well, number one, you're cooking it right now, so you can see the outsides of it were starting to cook, and the insides were still frozen, and it ended up being the worst, toughest, chewiest, god-awful chicken ever. So don't ever do what my friends did.
So what you can do in a pinch is you can run cool water and put the package in the water, and you do have some pretty quick thaw. And you start thawing in the microwave and doing that, you do start a cook if you're not careful. Right. So with the chicken, I've put salt and pepper on either side, so I'm seasoning it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dredge in flour. Now, a lot of these recipe ideas have, they talk about plain white flour. And with this program that Alan and I have talked about, we're trying to eliminate, refined. Anything refined, right? So the last time I was here and I had what we call a teff flour. I've got a whole grain gluten-free flour. You can use almond, you can use another gluten-free flour. It's just a little bit.
Can you use coconut? Doesn't coconut have a flour? Is that not a thing? Did I make that up?
Yeah, I mean there's coconut flour. I don't think it really matters when I'm just doing something like this. I'm just going to coat the chicken. So what this will do is seal in the seasoning. And I'd probably dredge this in a pan that I have at home and not in a baggie like this. It's a little messy, but keeps it all together.
What does dredge mean? Just coat it lightly?
Dredge.
I mean,
again, like I'm dipping it into a bowl and I'm coating it. So yeah, dredge. I'm sure there's a definition that I'm not thinking of.
Okay.
All right. So what I've done now, I want to shake off the extra flour. So now I have it coated. Nice. So other piccata recipes do call for sometimes you dip an egg, like a beaten egg, and then maybe in cornflake crumbs or panko crumbs, right? And then you can let it set, and then it gets it extra crispy. It takes a little more time, but it's certainly doable. So, and I was playing around with those recipes, trying to think of, how quickly can I make this? Because I want this done by noon with you guys. That's important. So what I've done is I've just sprayed the pan.
What do you use?
I just use a cooking spray. And I didn't actually bring oil with me today. Anybody have any olive oil in their purses? No? All right. So we're going to make do, because that's what you got to do sometimes. And if you're pressed for time and you're trying to make something and you think, oh my gosh, I didn't get X from the store, and you don't have time to get that, so what are you going to do? Now you got to figure it out.
Fudge it.
You got to fudge it. You got to find another ingredient, perhaps. So this is not sizzling too well here. So I have a little bit of a chicken stock made up, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit in the pan, give it a little moisture.
Is that homemade, I assume? That's your homemade chicken stock?
Not today.
No, not today. Whoa. She's really fudging it, guys.
I know, I am. I don't know. I was overwhelmed by the weather when I walked out this morning, so it's not an excuse. All right, questions, you guys? Such a quiet room.
Straightforward, come on.
Well, it is. I think so. Pardon me? I left the oil at home, so now I got to figure something out. So I'm just going to put a little moisture in there.
So keep it moist?
Yeah, well, it keeps it moist, but it's also going to give me a little bit of give in my pan so it doesn't stick, because this thing gets, hot plates are a little bit different than a gas stove that you have at home.
What if you don't have a gas stove at home?
Alan.
I'm just asking.
Okay.
I didn't have one until recently.
Oh, I know. Mine's pretty recent, too. I like it. I like it a lot. All right.
So what else goes in that pan?
So what else goes in this pan? After the chicken cooks, then I'm going to put, I had to bring the cooking wine. Got to have a bottle of cheap cooking wine, right? Anybody do that? Cheap white wine? $2, $3, cheap stuff. It's awesome when you when you deglaze a pan after you cook meat, and there's some little bits of meat stuck in there, or chicken, and then you deglaze the pan and it brings the flavor out, and then alcohol actually pretty much evaporates out.
For the most part.
Yeah, and if you don't
deglaze, explain that.
Well, again, deglaze is going to be
what do you
picking up. You're going to use a liquid, so you could use a broth, you could use a stock, you could use the white wine, you can use. You can use apple juice for all that, for all that matters. So lots of options as long as it's a liquid, right? I'm not going to deglaze with a fat, and I'm thinking of the science behind that, probably because things bind. Mm-hmm. So I want to be real careful with what I'm using, but a little bit of that liquid, and then what we're going to do is we're going to saute some garlic, and I guess as I was putting this together, I didn't put the shallots in there, but I'm going to use some shallot. Shallots are these like little onions you guys see in the store. You guys ever use them? So they're not as they're not as onion. Oh, they're not as like bitey as an onion. You cut into an onion and you cry, right? These are a little milder, so I like to use them, especially when you're not going to cook it for a very long time. Imparts a really nice flavor. Okay, so I'm going to put that in, but I'm not done with my chicken yet. So this is going to be cooking on both sides. And again, the thinner you pound this chicken out, the faster that's going to cook. Okay? And then you want to be real careful that you don't overdo it and make it tough.
Do you use a meat thermometer ever when you cook? For things like this?
When it comes to chicken, I don't. I just kind of know when it's done. When it comes to meat in the oven and some slow-cooked item, yeah, and you want to be more careful, certainly you
like a roast.
You want to, yeah. Okay. The ones that are built into the meat, like they do with turkeys. No. I figure they're going to malfunction at some point, so you do want to be careful. Okay, so. And again, the butter is going to come in here, but that's going to go in at the end.
So you made some rice too for this.
I did make some rice, yes.
Talk about that.
So in looking at your plan, and then looking at the Fresh 30 plan that Alan and I talked about,
you guys know why we changed it from the Whole 30? You guys have heard of the Whole 30? Anybody? The Whole 30 is a challenge to cleanse your palate and your diet of processed food and high glycemic index foods and things of that sort. It's very restrictive, the Whole 30 is, and in my opinion, it was too restrictive, so we modified it and made some accommodations that the Whole 30 does not allow for, and that's why we created that. So it's a challenge that is not meant to be a weight loss challenge. It's meant to help you reset what tastes good to you and why you want to eat certain foods by getting away from processed sugars, grains, and things of the sort.
Right. So we don't have pasta. Darn it.
Dang it.
I know, right?
But rices are good.
But rice is good. And we're going to allow the rice. So Alan is a little, he was just talking about white rice and brown rice. And, who loves brown rice in here? Why do we eat brown rice? Why is it even recommended? Why?
It tastes like dirt, right?
No, but why? Why? It's it's a whole grain, right? It is a whole grain, okay? And it does count as whole grain when we start looking at all of our grains and trying to make 50% of them whole. But there's really not a lot of flavor with brown rice, right? Sometimes rice is bland anyway because, if you just cook it with water and you don't play with it a little bit, okay?
Can you talk about the difference between instant and the quality of not doing that?
You know, you start making food that is easy to cook like that, you're starting to take something out. So generally we look at what's coming out is the fiber that comes out, okay? But whole grain brown rice only has 1 gram of fiber. Gosh, you know, is it really worth it? I'd rather probably just eat white rice, okay? So I started experimenting with some of the different things that I could find out there and started ordering on Amazon, of all things, and started getting my Asian red rice. Okay, anybody ever try the red rice? Okay, you guys ever try black rice? Super high in antioxidants, like rice you wouldn't even expect it.
So you cook that ahead of time.
I'm going to cook this, 10 minutes.
So
10, 15 minutes, so instead of instant rice.
What, twice as long, 3 times as long maybe, than it would have if it was instant?
Right, and what I do is if I'm going to make a stock or I'm going to use a low sodium broth, whatever I have, that adds a little bit more flavor, right? And so this, if you cook up a container of this and you have this in the refrigerator and you come home and you make your chicken, because that's easy enough to do, and I pull out a cup of this stuff and I throw my broccoli in the microwave, I got an easy meal, right? So it doesn't always have to be chicken, it can be beef. You can cook beef. I mean, we've got a grill and we grill all the time, and meat doesn't have to take that long on the grill, right?
How do you keep rice tasting good being reheated?
Oh, this stuff is awesome though.
Sometimes it dries out and it becomes a little tougher.
Well, I mean, if you've got rice that's been in a container for a long time and it does get dry, a little bit of water in the container,
Stock or something like that.
a little water or stock, just something liquid, and you throw it in the microwave, now you got some moisture that's put back into it. So there's ways around that.
Just re-moisturize it basically?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're using good storage tools, you probably shouldn't have that problem. But I guess.
Well, I
So
mean,
yeah, so there's.
if they're a week or so, it's going to dry out a little bit.
Right. All right, so there's my chicken. I'm going to interrupt myself here. So, what's next on here? I'm going to deglaze with a little bit of wine and add some garlic. Okay. Garlic, all right. So garlic, I can use my fresh garlic or I can use this good stuff out of the jar, right?
I cheat. I use that stuff.
I know. You know, it's just packed in water. It's not like I need to feel bad about it.
Packed in olive oil.
Ooh, yeah?
What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know. Why does it need to be packed in olive oil?
I don't know.
Oh,
Give
okay.
us a different flavor.
I don't know.
Is it bad?
Yeah.
Olive oil's not bad, is it?
So obviously I measured that. Let's just put a little bit in the pan. And I'm going to put a little bit of this white wine in here because what I have here in the pan, because you guys don't see it, I see some bits of chicken. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some shallots in here for some extra flavor.
So this is going to be, what do you use this for, this deglaze?
Well, this whole thing is going to be a sauce that I'm going to put on top of the chicken.
Okay, so you
and
put
make
it
it
on the
fun,
chicken.
right? And add some extra moisture and add some extra flavor.
Would you also pour that over the rice possibly?
Yeah, if I make enough of it. Yum.
Broccoli? Yes? No?
Absolutely. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Right?
So the other thing that we talked about with our plan is using regular butter, plain old butter.
Yeah.
You guys like that,
Why
right?
not margarine?
I think it falls under the category of a
Frankenfood?
Frankenfood, Alan. I think it does.
Well,
It does.
It's lower in calories, right? That makes it healthier.
I don't know. I figure, because I really wanted to target ingredient lists, and you get your ingredient list where they're as short as humanly possible, so you're probably going to have more fresh food, okay? So the smaller and the shorter the ingredient list is something that we're targeting.
What's
So-
in butter?
Butter, milk, cream,
Yeah. The ingredient list is pretty short on that.
extremely short.
Look at the ingredient list on regular sour cream and light sour cream, and then look at the ingredient list on fat-free sour cream next time you're at the grocery store. That will explain to you why we chose to exclude the fat-free dairy versions from the approved list. It's a mile long and you can't pronounce a third of it. So if you can't pronounce the ingredients in your food, the goal in this challenge is not to eat it. Agreed, Mary?
Yes, agreed. How are you doing on samples?
We're doing great.
Where are we?
I think.
We middle
I'm
of
running
the
out
room?
Time, but I think
You
we'll
are
be
running out of
good.
time. That's okay. All right. Okay, so this is still evaporating, and my garlic is turning brown, which is yummy. Any questions? You guys are too quiet. Yeah.
What's the price difference in the black and red rice compared to white rice?
Amazon Prime is awesome, right? Typically no tax or shipping. Okay, I'm an Amazon Prime user. Okay, so I bought a pound of red rice. What did I, no, this isn't a pound, excuse me. This is 5 pounds, 5 pounds of red rice. I don't remember what I paid. It wasn't 20, probably wasn't 20 bucks on that website.
So that lasts you a
Might have
while?
been less. Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, that lasts a while. And then the black rice, I just put an order in. It's heirloom black. You know, you can buy it in health food stores, probably pay more. But I like to buy the bulk and then just, I put whole grain stuff like that in the refrigerator outside or the freezer out there. I tend to make a bunch at a
That
time.
won't stay in the pantry then? It has to be refrigerated?
It's a whole grain. I like to put my stuff in the pantry or the refrigerator
So that
or the
helps
freezer.
it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it just,
That's
when it
good to
comes to
know.
whole grains, because I line them all up in there. But what I will do is I will take the red and the black and I combine them and I cook them up together. And I cook a huge container of it and it lasts all week long. I don't think it ever gets dry. Thank you. It never gets dry. All right, so I better pay attention here. All right, so what am I going to do? I'm going to be adding, I'm going to add some chicken stock.
She's going to stock it up.
A little stock. And I'm going to add some drained capers. So what's a caper? Anybody know?
I don't know. What is a caper?
Caper is a pickle. Actually, you find it in the...
I thought it was like a sardine.
You make tartar sauce at home? Who does that? Anybody make tartar sauce at home? Maybe not. All right. They're pickled flower buds, if you really want to know what they are.
Flower buds.
Pickled flower buds.
Huh.
A little bit goes a long way. But you do find them in the pickle aisle and the olive aisle if you're looking for capers, okay? The smaller the
What kind of
better.
flavor is it?
Oh, they're
It's just salty?
well, I mean, they're kind of salty. They're stored in a little bit of a balsamic vinegar mix. It's not like you want to sit there and eat a caper like you would a pickle. It doesn't taste the same, okay?
Okay.
But if you chop them up fine and you're making a tartar sauce for your fish, you know, if that's what you guys do, so it really gives good flavor. So to this, to my capers, my shallots, my garlic, my deglazed pan, and my little bit of chicken stock, put some lemon juice in here. Fresh lemon juice. You see the fresh lemon juice, not out of a jar or out of a bottle. Stuff doesn't taste
But
the same.
in a pinch, you can still use it, right?
Well, you can.
Is it
It's not the
acceptable?
same. It's not the same. But yeah, if you're looking in a pinch and you want to do that,
I have some in my fridge just in case I need it. And I don't have the fresh stuff.
all right, so once this boils up a little bit, I'm going to put the chicken back in, and then I'm going to put I've got 2 tablespoons of butter. There's a seed in there. Get that out.
So 4 of you guys here today, or 5 of you guys here today were lucky enough to win a parking spot for the rest of January.
Do you have names?
I have the names. I'm trying to go off my memory here. All right. Rochelle has the list in front of her, but I believe Sean Titus is number 1. So Sean Titus won a parking spot. Stephanie Reese won a parking spot, even though she interrupted us so rudely with her phone call.
It was with wellness work.
I know it was. Everybody knew what it was. And who else was on that list? Chad Livermore was on that list. So Chad got a parking spot.
Please call the name for me.
Oh, Stephen Arnold won a parking spot up front. And Gene Hartley won a parking spot. So those 5 spots. You guys arm wrestle over which of the 5 you get, but the 5 spots up front are yours for the rest of the month. So enjoy them. So thank you for coming. Mary, you gotta wrap it
Oh,
up.
I gotta wrap it up. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna do is I'm putting butter in there. I'm gonna melt it. I'm gonna add my chicken. and it becomes sauce because it does thicken. This is that little bit of flour you got on your chicken. Okay?
okay.
All right. Enough
Put it
said.
back in there afterwards.
I'm going to put it back in there because it's going to get thick, and I'm going to let it come to a boil and then bring it down to a simmer.
Okay.
So then you're done. You guys have dinner, and it's pretty simple. Okay?
There you go.
So if you guys have any questions on how this particular plan can work with your lifestyle and what you're doing, let me know.
That was
Happy to
20
work with
minutes
you.
to make a dinner.
Okay?
Thank you guys for
Thank
coming.
you.